Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
We record this episode of Cut the Clutter on the day of the IPL final, so you can understand by using a cricketing analogy or comparison in this case. I also seek your forgiveness at the very outset because of the fact that I will not use this comparison in a manner or to make a point that makes you feel good, that makes in fact anybody in India feel good, and definitely it doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel lousy in the festival season. But the truth is the truth, and the worst thing you can do in the handling of the truth is to hide from it, is to deny it. Because unless you look the truth in the eye, no matter how harsh it is, you can never address it. So the latest report of the Global Hunger Index is out. First of all, toss all those ideas. It's an international conspiracy. It is some anti-India NGO, etc., etc. No, it's none of that. These are very reputed organizations who produce these reports now for decades. They are trusted. Their methodologies are clearly stated, and these are peer-reviewed reports. Right? Now, this report tells us that India has now, unfortunately, scored a century, and India has moved into the three-figure mark, 101. Again, unfortunately, not out. What does it mean? It means that India's rank on Global Hunger Index has crossed 100. It's now 101. In the report 2 years back, on which we had also recorded a Cut the Clutter episode, that is 295. I will share it with you. 2 years back, 20th October 2019. So, you know, this is the time that this comes out. This is almost like an anniversary. In that report, India had featured as 94. Now it's 101. There's a little difference because absolutes change. So I will mention that also. Then India was 94 in a field of 107. Now India is 101 in a field of 116. So in 2019, 13 countries were still behind India. So we were less worse than 13 countries. Today, 15 countries are behind India. That's, you know, if that's a consolation, then our expectations are set very, very, very low. So 101 rank on a global ranking, which actually does not even rank. You might say, why only 116 countries? The world has a lot more countries. So a lot of the countries where indicators are already good, or good, that means they are not worrisome in the least, those are excluded. That's why you will not find the US, most of Europe. It also so happens that the top ranker in this list is a European country, but it's one of the sort of new European countries because that country emerged from the Soviet Union. That is Belarus. No matter what the status of its democracy, that is the highest rank in this list of 116. Germany, UK, Belgium, France, US, those are already seen to be sort of ranked out of this count. So Belarus at the top. At the bottom, you have Somalia, 116. And at 101, you have India. You know, you want cheap thrills. If cheap thrills work in these situations, I can tell you the other countries who are behind India. But, you know, it's not a cause for much satisfaction, but that is, and I will do it in the rank in which they feature after India: Papua New Guinea, Afghanistan, just 2 ranks behind India, remember. Papua New Guinea, Afghanistan, Nigeria, Congo, Republic of Congo, not DRC, not Democratic Republic of Congo, that comes much later. Republic of Congo, Mozambique, Sierra Leone, the country of blood diamonds. Remember that story? I bet many of you have seen the film. Timor-Leste, Haiti, from where all these tens of thousands or lakhs of people are now trying to stream into America, Haiti and Liberia. And then, as I told you, at the end comes Somalia. So it is with that group. India is now grouped with all of these. So that's the reason I said least worst of the worst. This is not a reassuring thought at all. Once again, you want to look at the neighborhood. Because we like to compare ourselves with Pakistan, Bangladesh. We were the same country after all once in 1947, until 1947. India is at 101. We are behind Pakistan. Pakistan is 92. Not good for our egos, not good for our national self-respect. there are only a few things where Pakistan is ahead of us. Only a few positive things, only a few good indices on which Pakistan is ahead of us. Maybe the odd one. This is one of those. So Pakistan is 92, India is 101, right? So way behind Pakistan, 9 behind Pakistan. Nepal, you think Nepal is a poor country and all of Nepal wants to come into India and work here. Nepal is at 76. They've done a much better job of nutrition in their country than us. And I will explain to you what hunger is in this case. Then you have Sri Lanka at 65, but that is understandable because Sri Lanka has been a lower middle income country now for a long time. And even Myanmar, with all its trouble and all its disruptions and all its violence and bad governance, is 71. Once again, you want to have the same rude mirror shown to you, or do we want to have the same rude mirror shown to us? Why should I say you? I should say us, because I'm included. North Korea is at 96, and the whole world sees North Korea as a basket case, which is willing to trade missiles for shiploads of rice, as Pakistan seems to have done. So this tells you that India is doing right now very badly. Now, what is Global Hunger Index? Now, hunger, you might say it's a clickbait, right? Or you might just say that's a convenient way of putting a complex concept. So hunger is not what you might have seen in the movies of the 50s and the 60s. That is a child going to sleep on an empty stomach, mother not having food either to feed the child or to herself, or these pictures of children with sunken stomachs or people with sunken stomachs with their skeletons showing, that you see coming out of many of these war-torn countries, say in Africa even now. Hunger for this index is not starvation. Remember, hunger for this index is a complex combination of undernourishment or nourishment, child wasting, child stunting, and child mortality. Now, what is child wasting? Child wasting is when a child weighs less than he or she should at a particular age, right? You may expect a child of 3 to weigh this much, but the child is half that weight. The child is wasted, right? And this is up to the age of 5, because that is when human bodies are formed. Child stunting, on the other hand, is if the child is short compared to the average that should have been up to the age of 5, then the child gets stunted and the child remains stunted. You may have seen a recent report that said, credible report, that Indians are actually getting shorter decade after decade. So that tells you that India's stunting situation is not good. So first of all, there is child wasting, child stunting. Then 1/3 of this index is made from undernourishment. So undernourishment basically is not getting enough calories to eat. Now, you might say that 1800 calories, it will be luxury if I eat 1800 calories. My nutritionist told me to have only 1600 calories, or my doctor told me to have only 1600 calories. But that's because we are urban folk. We do very little manual work. Most of our stuff is done on computers. We don't even walk to the metro, many of us. So for us, those calorie counts are okay, but generally a human being needs to have 1800 calories. Now, so if you have calories below that and then proteins and other nutrition, that is undernourishment. That makes for 1/3 of the index. So I can do no better but share this sort of, you might call it wagon wheel, because it looks like a cricket field where they show you where a batter has scored more of the runs. You may call it a pie chart. You can make your choice, because IPL final, so I will call it a wagon wheel. Now, this is the wagon wheel that the organizations that put out this report have put out, explaining how the Global Hunger Index is constituted. So 1/3 is inadequate food supply. That I told you, that's mostly calories and then protein and the rest, but calories, right? 1/3 is from child mortality. That means what percentage of children die before they reach the age of 5. So like an infant mortality rate, but cut off at the age of 5. In fact, that's one area in which India has done brilliantly, and I will tell you that. And the third, 1/3 of the index is made of child undernourishment, which means wasting and stunting. So 1/6 is constituted by wasting, 1/6 is constituted by stunting, together 1/3. So you are given points on all these. And remember, the way this count is done, the fewer points you have, the better it is, right? So if you get 100 out of 100, you're really awful. So the country that is doing the worst of all, that is Somalia, is 50.8. And what is then done is, the country that is doing the worst in the world, that is taken as the standard of the worst. And all others are then seen in comparison with that country. So Somalia at 50.8 is the worst. Then there is also a way of describing what is serious, what is bad, what is extremely serious, and those things need to be understood carefully. That is called severity index. Once again, as I speak about these things, you will see charts running on my screen. Most of those charts are borrowed from the World Hunger Index report with gratitude, and we are allowed to do that. So severity index is, if your severity points are below 9.9, then you are fine, right? Then you are fine. It's very low. Not perfect, but if you're below 9.9, you are in very good shape because your severity index is low. 10 to 19.9 is moderate, right? 20 to 34.9 is serious, and 35 to 49.59 is alarming. And then if you are above 50%, it is extremely alarming. So at this point, Somalia is above 50%, it's 50.8. It's extremely alarming, but many countries are in the 35 to 49.9 range. You might want to ask where India is. India is at 27.5, which is not nice at all. 27.1 puts India on the lower side, on the worst side of the serious category. Not flattering at all. Again, see this chart. This is again from the index. See how different regions of the world are doing. And that again holds a mirror to our region. That is South Asia. Because हम बातें बड़ी बड़ी करते हैं. We talk very big. We think the whole world learns everything from us, right? We think we are Vishwa Gurus. Pakistan thinks that they are the only Islamic country to have produced the nuclear weapons, so they are big tigers. They've got a great army, big army, right? So we are tigers. They are not, right? Bangladesh is a good case study. Bangladesh has done enormously better. In fact, Bangladesh probably helps South Asia avoid being even deeper in the pit. And then Sri Lanka is not in such a bad shape. So see the state of the world right now. All of sub-Saharan Africa. We say sub-Saharan Africa has to be the worst in the world. Sub-Saharan Africa has an average GHI, Global Hunger Index, of 27.1. Serious, on the bad side of serious. South Asia, our region, is the second worst, 26.1. So just 1 point below sub-Saharan Africa on Global Hunger Index. Think about it, right? Then West Asia, North Africa. If you look at all that, it's about 12.7, right? Not too bad at all compared to other poorer parts of the world. So that part of Africa is actually doing enormously better than us in South Asia, and that's a lot of Africa. Latin America and Caribbean, again you think of some of those as third world countries, 8.7, enormously better than we dadas in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Then East and Southeast Asia, that of course you will expect them to do well, 8.5. Europe and Central Asia, 6.7. But Europe and Central Asia, only the countries which have been counted here. As I told you, a lot of the richer countries are not even counted. If you look at South Asia has the highest for any region for child wasting. Not good. 14.7. Terrible. Sub-Saharan Africa, in comparison, has only 6.2%. The rest of Africa has 6.3%. Our South Asia is 14.7%. Once again, you want an eye-opener of all the children wasting in the world. That means of all the children under the age of 5 who are underweight, half of them are in South Asia, in our region. Second, of all the children stunting in the world, that means all the children who are too short for their age up to the age of 5, of those 1/3 are in South Asia. So look how we top all the bad counts in the world, and that should make us introspect. Once again, if you really want to feel not so bad, look at the ones who are doing worse than you. If that satisfies you, be my guest, right? So Somalia 50.8, Yemen 45.1, the overall GHI, Central African Republics 43, Chad 39.5, Democratic Republic of Congo 39. That's the reason I told you earlier that Republic of Congo is a different country and they are actually doing a bit better than Democratic Republic of Congo. India comes to 27.5, which puts India in a very problematic category. In fact, as we go along, I'm so sorry I don't have much good news to give to you on this survey. There is some, I will come to that. I will not miss that because I'm also searching for good news about my country, and there is some. On child wasting, India tops the world. Think about it. That means India has the largest number of children under the age of 5 who are underweight. And you travel deeper into India, travel not just into the deeper rural India, places that you see stereotypically as being poor, that is Eastern UP, Western Bihar or North Bihar, or parts of West Bengal or Odisha. In fact, you can find them even in large parts of our big cities, even in Delhi as well. So you can see that why India tops the world on this very dubious count, which means the highest percentage of children who are wasting right now. Now see how India has done over time, and these are 4 time frames, and I'm not reading out the time frames. You will see them on my chart because this is the chart again that we have taken from the GHI, and we'll circle some of these so you can see which years. So these are, some are in 90, some begin 98 to 2000, some begin 2000 to 2002. That's the reason if I start reading out all that, it will get very cluttered. So these are basically data points taken from 4 different points over 20 to 22 years, right, under each category, and see how India has progressed and how other countries, particularly in our neighborhood, have progressed. So India, on undernourishment, that is the overall Pet Bhara index, right? India was 18.4 to begin with. In this case, from 2000 to 2002, got worse to 19.6, then got dramatically better to 15.0, then got to 15.3. So 18 to 20 is 15.3. If anything, there is a deterioration from say 2011-13 to 2018-20, which is very disappointing because until then India was improving. In fact, between 2005-7 and 2011-13, India had made quite an impressive improvement from 19.6 to 15. Now 7 more years, say from 2013 to 2020, India has actually worsened to 15.3. That's a very telling figure because remember, this also includes 6 years of Mr. Modi's rule. Then child wasting. Child wasting, India began at 17.1. It got worse to 20.0. Then it improved to 15.1. And 2018-20, unfortunately, and I say it with pain, it has again deteriorated to 7.3. So 2 key indicators India has deteriorated in the 2013-2020 period. Then if you look at stunting, again very bad news. Stunting, India between 1998 and 2002 had 54.2%, right? That's the reason when you now say, why are subsequent generations of Indians shorter than before? That is the price you are paying. If 20 years back, 54.2% of your children were stunted, you can imagine you have a generation of much shorter Indians now. So 20 years back, it was 54.2. Then it came to 48.7. Then between 2010 and 14, it improved further to 38.7. Now between 2014 to 2020, that is now, we've only made an improvement of 4 points. That is now 34.7. So once again, not a deterioration, an improvement, which is a good thing, but not good enough. Still very high on the stunting score. But on the wasting score, child wasting score, the highest in the world, or the worst in the world. Highest, the use of the word adjective highest can sometimes be misleading. Now, I told you there is also some good news. And that good news is on infant mortality side, IMR, infant mortality rate. That is the number of children who die, number of babies who die before they turn 5. That in 2000 was 9.2. From 9.2 in 2006, it came to 7.1. Good. From 7.1 to 2012, it came to 5.2. And 2019, it is 3.4. So that's a steady improvement. And I can calculate, or you can calculate on the back of an envelope, the improvement on this index has at least kept India to 101. Otherwise, India was in a danger of even falling below Afghanistan. Once again, don't shoot the messenger. Don't say that these groups who do this research year after year and who built a reputation and who are globally respected are talking nonsense, because they are not talking nonsense. We should look the reality in the eye. You want to look at comparisons? Pakistan. They started out 21.1 undernourishment. They are now 12.9, so better than us. 14.1 on wasting, they are 7.1. So enormously better than India on wasting. That is something for us to think about. Because for India, wasting at this point, even after all the improvement, is 7.3. Pakistan is 7.1. Stunting, all right. Pakistan is still better than us, 31.5, but not that much better. They are still doing poorly. Infant mortality, Pakistan is doing much worse, 6.7. India is at 3.4. If they had gotten their act together on infant mortality, they would have risen much higher than 92. And frankly, if we had gotten our act together on child wasting and stunting, then we would have left all of South Asia, barring maybe Sri Lanka, behind. But we've done very poorly. Look at the front runner in South Asia, in the subcontinent. That means in the subcontinent that's joined together, leaving out the island of Sri Lanka. Bangladesh, undernourishment started at 15.9, now at 9.7. Remarkable. Child wasting started at 12.5 20 years ago, now 9.8. Compare that with India. Think about it. Compare that with India. Stunting, 51.1 20 years back, now 28.0. Still bad, but compare it with 34.7 of India and 31.5 of Pakistan. So see how far ahead Bangladesh has gone. And infant mortality, they started at a much lower level, that is 8.7, which is already brilliant 20 years ago. Now they're at 3.1. Still better than India, but that is one area in which India is catching up, And you know what? We always tend to compare ourselves with our immediate neighborhood. But for some reason, conveniently, we leave out China. So China is also in these rankings, obviously very high up. You want to see China's figures? China's figures for undernourishment have come from 10 points to below 2.5. So it's not a country of concern as far as undernourishment is concerned. On wasting, they've come down from 2.5 to 1.9. 1.9 compared to your own number, 17 plus something. Think about it. Stunting from 17.8 to 4.8. 4.8 to 34.7 or whatever it is in our cases. Think about it. How far we have allowed ourselves to be left behind. And don't say this government or that government, 7 years or 70 years. This is after 7 years of Mr. Modi as well. So problems in our country are fundamental and deep. Infant mortality, 3.7 China had 20 years back. Today it's 0.8. It's like first world level. So what is the reason behind all this? First of all, the reason is not that you have granaries full of rice and wheat and people are still starving. Because people are not still starving. You can distribute all of that free, and yet, in fact, now you're distributing a lot of it free or nearly free, But even then, your rankings on global hunger index will not improve, because global hunger index is constituted by a complex set of nutritional factors, which means proteins, fats. Fats are expensive now. They're in our traditional Indian diet, there is very little proteins. And in fact, we are very poor on micronutrients, iron, vitamin B12, so many of the others. You saw in this whole fear of the pandemic, people started popping zinc. We Indians are also traditionally short of zinc. So many people started popping vitamin D because they said vitamin D helps you fight COVID-19. The fact is, Indians are genetically short of vitamin D. Now, that is a paradox given the fact that we have so much sunshine, but these are genetic factors. So, human bodies need to make up for these nutrients, micronutrients, protein, for example. That is the reason, even in the earlier episode of Cut the Clutter that I had recorded, 295, I had quoted a speech by Shiv Nadar, the founder of HCL, a wonderful entrepreneur, man with a heart of gold, who had then said while lecturing the RSS at an RSS function that what I'm going to say may not make you happy, right? But remember, wherever children eat meat, please add meat to your midday meal schemes. Don't force anybody to eat it. But for those children who eat meat, please serve them meat, because you have to cross this protein and micronutrient barrier. And meat is the best way of doing that. I know that I will trigger many vegetarians, but this is a reality, right? Or you can find other things, find more dal, more paneer, more milk, more this and that or whatever. But the fact is that unless we improve the quality of our feeding, we cannot rise on global hunger index just by tossing more rice and more wheat down the bellies of our poor people. All that will do is make people obese. You can eat as much macaroni, roti, chawal with achar, whatever you want to eat, right? But that will not bring you up on global hunger index. It is protein and micronutrients. That's very important. That's why I'm also sharing with you today an article we published today by Professor Ivika Petrikova and Arvind Kumar. Ivika Petrikova is an assistant professor. Arvind Kumar is a PhD scholar at Royal Holloway University of London, who are saying the only way to fight this formidable challenge of undernutrition in India is to bring more meat into our diets. Now, you can choose what food you want, but don't prohibit people from what they want to eat, and also don't restrict them if they want to eat something else. That is not something that is helping India, because when you do that, remember the rankings that you have from India, and don't blame me and don't blame the organizations who've done this. That is the reality of India. I can take you for a drive around the country. You can see it with your own eyes, and what you see will make you cry. It will make you cry that 75 years after being independent, our people, such a large number of people, look so malnourished, so undernourished, shorter than before, weaker, scrawny, particularly the children. So I know I should let you go now to watch your IPL final. Please do that. But this reminds me of something that I saw in 1967-68. There was a very famous film, a very big hit at that time, Upkar, Manoj Kumar starrer. आपको याद होगा, मेरे देश की धरती सोना उगले, उगले हीरे मोती. Indivar had written beautiful lyrics for that film. And one of those lines I remember, right? There was a song in that film that runs in the background, ये काली रात है काली. It's a dark night, right? महंगाई बढ़ाने वालों से, अनाज दबाने वालों से ये भूखे फरिश्ते पूछते हैं भारत की कहानी क्या होगी. जिस देश का बचपन भूखा है फिर उसकी जवानी क्या होगी. What do you expect from the youth of a nation whose childhood is starving? So that is the wake-up call once again that this global hunger index tells you. And you know what? Very often you keep asking me, you are curious about these notes, and you say that, can I share these with you? What I'll do today is, I will share these with you. All I can tell you is, you will not be able to understand anything or make any sense of it. These are notes that I write for myself by way of my own version of shorthand. But by all means, I'll share these notes with you for today.